to another, from one ghetto to another. Part of the people went to Płaszów. We were lucky enough to go to Siedlnia, to a Lebekev Siedlnia. My father was a very knowledgeable guy, spoke 4 languages, German, Polish, Italian, and Hungarian. He knew what war is. He was a military man. He knew what was going on. He got to know a German officer, SS man, who was more liberal than all other Germans. Somehow or another, when we were sent to Siedlnia, he was able to buy ourselves freedom, bribe the German. He came in with double-decker and took 8 people out of the Siedlnia camp. We were paid off by the Ukrainian watchmen who was there. They got a few watches. They were very happy that we went. We drove a while to the mountains. Pastor Martin was not too far away, where the Polish partisans were waiting for us to take us over the border. It took us a while. We were lucky that after an hour being on the mountains, that the Germans came, but they were afraid to go up to the mountain because they knew very well that the Polish partisans were there. We spent the night over in the mountains with the partisans. The following day, they smuggled us out to Slovakia. From Slovakia, we were in a Jewish agency. From there, my father, knowing Hungarian, was able to buy tickets because it was Košice, now it's Russian, now it's Ukrainian, then it was Hungarian, and before it was Slovenia, Czechoslovakia. We bought the tickets, we went to Budapest. We're free people. We could do whatever we wanted. Right away we went to assemble with a Jewish agency. We tried to find out. There were some other people from our town who survived, who ran away to Hungary before. We got together with them and we rented an apartment. We were there, free people, for 3 months, for not even 3 months, when the Germans marched in 19th of March, 1944. My father felt that it was not a safe place to go, stay in the Budapest, because the Hungarian Nazis were taking over, and they were not such a good thing, because they were always after the Jewish Hungarian people. My father felt that was the best way to do is to move out of Budapest. So we divided, my mother, my sister and me, with one train. My father was going another train. Sure enough, when we were on our way to the place, the Hungarian police came over, checked our papers. Since we were Gentiles and no Polish papers, we were taken off from the train. We were put in a jail, in a Hungarian jail. We were there. We're laying on the floor, the men separate, the women separate. But somehow or another we survived. I got sick, I got pneumonia. My father was on free man. He bribed us out of the jail. And we got out of it. We were free people, probably 3 months when we were fingered, not only us, but some of the Jewish people were fingered out that were living in some place, and the German Gestapo came to get us. We were taken to jail, to a Hungarian jail, and when we sat in jail there, my father ran away. Somehow or another, 3 days later, they caught up with him. And sure enough, I walked, when they gave us the walking papers, that we were able to walk at 1 hour every day. Sure enough, all of a sudden, I saw my father was there. We were in jail. They fed us. I mean, we were living in conditions like every jail, I suppose. Soon enough, the Germans came in one night and took us down to the Gestapo headquarters. and asked for our papers. And she said, well, your name is Romkowski. He said, your name is not Romkowski, your name is Elias Volkman. I said, no, my name is Edward Volkmann. He said, no. And naturally, the easiest way for them to do is pull down your pants. So they found out that we were Jewish. Back to jail. We're sitting in jail for a while, and then one night they came to get us from jail. My father was in a different cell. My mother and sister were somewhere else. We were taken by train. One night, I don't know how many, I found out later. We went to Auschwitz. I found out men and women were separated right away. I don't know how many we were. I found out later. We were 60 men in this group. 52 were sent to gas chamber right away. 8 people were left to be tattooed. From 19952 to 199,529. Since I was the last one, 199,529, I wasn't sure what my father's number was. Then I found out that I was almost the last one. The number 199,530 was given to an infant who was born in Auschwitz by a Viennese woman. We had shaved, gave us clothing, and to the barracks. We were very lucky again. We were in a group what was A, B, C, D. There was quarantine compound. We were very lucky because if anybody was in Birkenau, Auschwitz, when you look from the top, we were in the first barrack on the bottom, but this was not the way. The way we were, because this was the gate. This was the gate when we were there. We were lucky again. Was in the first barrack, first bed on the 3rd floor. I was laying there with four other people. Half of the barracks were Russian prisoners of war. Most of them were officers and so on. Every barrack had a couple. The couple from was very lucky. He was a German, not Jewish. He was a political prisoner there. He had his own room, but he was responsible for everything. There was no hard working or no working. They were fed us a little bit here and there. You know how it is. I was picked to a job in German they call it Scheißkommando. Here I would clean the latrines. That was a luxurious job. We were able to go from one place to another. Next to ours was a women's camp, then was a C camp, D camp, and there was that. And the last camp, what it was, we were used to call Canada. Why do we call Canada? Because those people were working when the wagons came in and they chased everybody out. They would go there and pick up all the food, all the clothing, whatever. So wherever we went there to clean up, we were getting a lot of food from the prisoner. They shared with us, whatever. You were not allowed to bring in too much to your camp because right away the Germans would see them. Even though that I was able to go from one camp to another, I could never find out what happened to my mother and sister. We were in ghetto. We spent our high holidays in Auschwitz. And one of the barracks, the Jews made sure that there was a minyan and there were prayers and everything. Sure enough, the following day, there was a segregation. The couple told me, whenever you do, remember, look the German right into the eye. Don't kneel his head or right straight up in your face. Sure enough, when the segregation came out, I didn't know who he was. Now I knew there was Dr. Mengele, but then I didn't know who was. He was there with his pen, this one in, this one out, this one in, this one out. Don't ask me why I was never selected. The stronger man, better looking man, and I was survived. We were in Auschwitz till sometimes in October and November, working. Wasn't whatever anybody could say. You could see the chimneys working, going 24 hours a day. One day we were cleaning up the latrines in the kitchen. All of a sudden we heard shooting and bombing. Sure enough, it was one of the crematorium people started to burn and dynamite the crematorium, and they burned it down. Naturally, all of them got killed, but they knew very well after a while Germans were changing. And once you were working crematorium, you never came out alive. We were in Auschwitz, then one night, all the Jews out from the barracks. Because they're not only the Jews that were there were some Polish people, French people, Belgian people, all kinds of nationalities. All of us marched to a bus. Sure enough, you had always in mind already, because you knew once you go to a bus that the gas might come through the cyclone, come in, and they're going to kill. But we got shaved, washed, everybody got a blanket, and we were transferred by train to a camp named Liberose. Liberose is middle of the Germany, not far away from Berlin. The closest is Oranienburg. We went there. It was a labor camp. We're divided to each one to a barrack. There were some Jewish people, there were some political prisoners, there were homosexuals, all kinds of nationalities were there. It was very hard labor, because we were there during the winter. We were laying tracks for trains. And the kitchen always used to come with us. So whoever got food, and we somehow now survived. If you were not frostbitten, and you would always make sure if you get a pair of shoes, make a couple of sizes larger so you can put in some straw or newspaper to warm up your feet. Naturally, I got sick. I was frostbitten, I got sick. I was lucky enough to go to a hospital. Lucky enough, my father was working in the kitchen, so I got extra food. I was able to survive. And then all of a sudden, middle of January, they started to talk, it was 1945, that the Russians are not far away. So they were talking about liquidating the camp. And from my knowledge, I wasn't old enough, not smart enough, but my knowledge about the German, you're not allowed to be sick. So I got away. When I found out that we were going to get out, I got out from the hospital, pushed into a line, gave me a loaf of bread, stay in the line. I was looking for my father, to no avail. We are going on a death march. Out of 3,000 people who started the march, only 2,000 came to Sachsenhausen. All of the people who were not able to walk were shot. That's why I was always told, go up front, so you'll be able to catch up your breath till you come in. You were not allowed to fall out of line because you were shot right away. We're living most of the fields. Once in a while we were able to, were in the barns. The 6th day of our death march, nobody could move. We were taken by a train from Falkensee to Sachsenhausen, because nobody was able to move, and they were not out to shoot everybody on the highway. We came to Sachsenhausen, barely alive. Naturally, there was again an auction. Some of the people were thrown into crematorium right away, gassed up. We were not too long to Sachsenhausen when they heard